Oh, yeah. Guess who's ready to dominate a best ball draft? This girl right here. Hey, everybody. Welcome to our live stream. We're going to do another best ball draft on Underdog Fantasy. If you are joining us, make sure to do us a huge favor before we get into it. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment below. Let us know how your best ball drafts have been going. I know a lot of people, this week is a big week for season-long fantasy football drafts. So maybe there's some helpful information that can help you dominate all your friends and family in fantasy football as well. You never know. All right, let's pull up the good old Underdog Fantasy. Tyler, what's your account right now? What's your best ball?
My total best ball count is 226.
Oh, boy.
I am 10 away from maxing BBM 5.
All right. So in today's contest, Tyler, are we going head to head and being competitors?
We sure are. I gotta get my numbers up to be able to
Let's go. Okay. Let's we're gonna enter into BBM 5 on Underdog Fantasy in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. At least I thought I entered. Maybe I pressed the wrong button. There we go. Okay. There we go. Confirm. Fetching the draft. So excited. All right. We're waiting for 7 people.
It looks like I'm going to be drafting 2 at the same time because I am not in your room.
Uh-oh. All right. Well.
All right. So now we're waiting for 5.
I feel like it's
going to be yours.
That is a risk. It is that time of year when everyone's trying to get those best ball drafts in right before the season starts. Look, it filled up so fast. I love this. This is awesome. I'm hoping to get like a 1 or 2 pick here, Tyler. I haven't really gotten, I think I've only been in one contest where I drafted from the 1 or 2 spot. So that would be fun for me, but we're 3. I like that spot. Do you have a favorite position to draft from?
Not really. I mean, I kind of like the middle, the 4 through 10 or so. It looks like I am 2 in ours and you're 3. So
there you are. Okay,
what we got there, yeah.
Flat Tyler 83.
And then in
the
other
good old
that I'm going to be doing, I'm 4th.
Oh, you're doing double. That's inconvenient for you. I feel like hopefully that's gonna be tight.
Well, trying to do 2 and then talk all through it also.
I know.
Is the difficult
That's the one downside of these. I always get distracted. So I'm going to try to really lock in on these because I want to have a really good team here. So with the 3 spot here, Tyler, I don't want to reveal too much with you being just ahead of me, but I feel like you're probably going to go. Am I right in saying if CMC goes first? Oh my gosh, Tyreek Hill went off the board first. That's the first time I've seen that. But I get it.
It isn't the first time I've seen it, but I've said a while ago that I will be trying to get my CMC exposure from the 2 spot. So I had to go that way.
That's awesome.
Which means you getting Lamb at 3rd is awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. I'm pretty pumped about CeeDee Lamb at number 3 there. I haven't really gotten as much of Dallas as I would like, so hopefully we can maybe get some other players, but CeeDee Lamb, now that he has his brand new contract, hopefully he'll show up. We can put on the money shades for CeeDee Lamb with that.
I'm only at like 5% CeeDee Lamb right now. So CMC.
Oh, CMC.
So I pretty much had to take him there. Just I don't want to be that underweight CMC.
Now, Breece Hall was one I really like too that I really don't have a lot of at all. Breece Hall I really like for this season. Another one that I like that I don't have as much is Bijan. I know you got a lot of Bijan. I thought you did. I thought I remember you talking about it, but
yeah, but there was some more news that came out a few weeks ago that pulled me off him a little bit more. I think he's only really getting 16 to 18 touches a week type thing. And I think that's going to take him out of being the RB1, unless there's injuries and whatnot. But because of that, I pulled back a little bit from where he's going. And I kind of like Brees over him now.
I think I'm with you. The thing about Brees Hall is I feel like we're just going to see a lot of the Jets. Like, so much has been made, and I've talked to you about how I think too much has been made about Aaron Rodgers with the Jets. I think they're going to rely so much on their defense that when they do have the ball on offense, it's just kind of like keep it together, keep a functioning offense, give it to Brees Hall to get the job done. And when Aaron Rodgers was even in his MVP seasons, he was still like the running backs there were very productive in Green Bay. So I think that's a good pick for Brees Hall. And we've talked about Brees Hall before and how effective he was last season. And you've got to remind yourself that last season was only his first season back after recovering from that ACL injury. So I think usually what we've seen with running backs is, of course, the second year back is they get that explosiveness back. We've seen it, with guys like Saquon before. So I think I'm really high on Brees Hall as well. As we see Jahmyr Gibbs go pretty high. What is your thought on Gibbs there? Curious what your thought is with that running back situation for Detroit. Or are you multiple? Hold on.
No, I mean, I love the situation. I think Gibbs going, where did he end up going? 17 is fine. Mm-hmm. I've been taking him around there. I don't really like taking him at the beginning of the round. I know you're up now. So
yeah, I really need I need a receiver here. So am I going to go Olave or Adams? I'm going to go, I can't go Olave. So I'm going to go Adams. He is dealing with a minor injury supposedly, but I think hopefully the Raiders will figure something out on offense and figure out how to get him the ball. If not, they could just trade him to the Jets and then he'll be productive. And then I like that spot for sure.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I personally went to good old Malik Neighbors, and
like a good neighbors, State Farm is there. Sorry, I said that was cheesy, but I saw a team name recently that was a fantasy football. Like a good neighbors is the team name, and I was like, oh, that's funny.
The big question for me right now is what do we do with Brandon Ayuk?
What do we do with him? You can't pass
I'm
on
not
him.
taking him. I'm not taking him where he is right now. I'm passing.
Oh, I forgot that I had yeah.
Are
you passing? So I'm going to get, I'm a little concerned with Kyron Williams. Where am I? But I'm going to go Derrick Henry here. I think
so the whole punt return thing worries you?
Yes, it does. But also the other thing with him is he has never, I feel like he always has a couple games where he's just, dealing with injuries. That's a concern. The punt return situation is very concerning to me. Do I have a reason to be concerned, do you think?
I mean, it's such a tough one because it also does allow him to score more fantasy points, but it increases his rate or his risk of injury.
That's exactly what I'm worried about. Yeah. I mean, injury is so unpredictable, but it's not.
But he was so good from a fantasy standpoint.
I hear you, and that's a good offense. Maybe I'm having a little. The thing about Derrick Henry is I feel like it's a good, it's a very good offense, and I feel like goal line Derrick Henry is with the Baltimore Ravens. I like that play there. So that's kind of my logic there. But if you disagree with me, please let me know in the comments. Want to hear from you guys. I do have a little bit. I'm like, should I gone Kyron? Could have gone. Curious to know why okay. So to Leroy Bennett, who asked a question about the dinger list, if it's just make sure on your phone that you have the right slate selected, because that's something that I did. I was like, why is the phone different? I actually did this the other day. If you're using the LineStar app, make sure that you go back to projections. So it might already have the dinger report up, but go back to projections and then change the slate to the one that you want to look at. Make sure it includes all of them, and then check out the dinger report from there, because I made that mistake yesterday. That's just, I don't know if that's what happened, but just make sure that is the case. Hope that helps. All right, back to drafting.
Where are you at? All right, how many?
Here we go. Tyler, what's your... Let's check out Tyler's team. Where are you? Where's Tyler?
So far, I have CMC, Malik Neighbors, and Mike Evans.
Nice. There's Tyler. Okay, CMC, Malik. And I got CeeDee Lamb, Javonte, Derrick Henry coming up here. So let me take a look at the board here. So right now I'm working with Derrick Henry, CeeDee Lamb, Davante Adams. So let's see who's available here. I have the rankings imported from LineStar's best ball tool. I am going to sort by ADP though, and then just use the rankings to kind of see what LineStar's thinking there. I am now one pick away.
I do believe that is the best practice.
Yeah. As we've learned the hard way too, it automatically defaults to that, so you got to be careful.
To the ranking, yes.
So I'm really liking Amari Cooper. So I'm going to go Amari Cooper. As we've talked about, the Cleveland Browns are an interesting one.
I have not done this, but I already have 2 running backs. That is not something I have done in many drafts.
Wow. Josh Jacobs, but I love the spot for Josh Jacobs this season with the Green Bay Packers. That offense is going to be ridiculous. You know what? That's one of the hot teams that's been talked about on every platform, every TV show that I turn on ESPN, Fox Sports. Everyone's really lauding the Green Bay Packers. So maybe they're onto something.
Well, so the thing here with me for Josh Jacobs is he doesn't really have a backup right now. Marshawn Lloyd almost went on IR, but they ended up not putting him on it. AJ Dillon is on IR, season-ending IR too. So their fallback plan should have been their 3rd or 4th stringer, should have been just a special teamer, and now he's RB2. So I think at least in the beginning of the season, Jacobs is going to get a huge workload. And the only reason he isn't higher is because all offseason people have thought that, Lloyd might get a little bit more than he's going to, at least in the beginning.
Yeah, I really like the Josh Jacobs pick there. Now, have you been implementing any specific strategies as you approach these best balls? Have you been a hero RB guy? Last season, it was the 0 RB was a popular strategy.
I've done a lot of 0, and then hero. I mean, this is the first time where I have, or not the first time, but I have very few teams where I have 2 like top tier running backs.
Yeah. I was reading an article the other day talking about fantasy sports, and it was just saying, it was kind of illustrating the unpredictability specifically of the running back position and just how volatile it is in terms of projecting points, because that position is just so, I mean, there's so much dependent on either volume for whatever reason, if a player doesn't get enough volume, or just injury. I mean, it's such an injury prone position. So when you're drafting and stuff, it's oftentimes best to just take a wide receiver because they're a bit more projectable. And the article was saying like something like over 60% or something of running backs meet their underperform their projections or something like that. So,
Well, the thing with the position is volume is king, and
mhm.
so a backup running back's projection to start the year is going to be terrible. But you have one injury, and then all of a sudden, that projection could be great.
Yeah.
So that's why for best ball, like the backup running backs are so important in getting lucky, in the spot where the starter goes down is just very, very important for your teams. It's, I
Yeah.
mean, them and tight end, at the end of the drafts are the spots where projections can go up so much.
Coming up here, I have right now Derrick Henry, CeeDee Lamb, Devontae Adams, Amari Cooper, and Mark Andrews. I swooped in, Tyler, I don't know if you saw that tight end. Get a
Mm-hmm.
little Baltimore working for me. Not a bad offense. Gotta go to that offense led by the former Georgia Bulldogs offensive coordinator, Todd Monken. Let's go. Go Dogs. Speaking of which, college football starts on Saturday. 9 a.m. our time and Pacific time is when that game is versus Clemson. So
You're not at all excited about that, right?
speaking of dogs, I might just roll with the trend here and take one in my next pick.
Of course you will.
Nah, I won't. I'm actually really interested in. I barely have any Deontay Johnson. So I'm gonna. Did I get your pick?
You swooped on me.
Sorry, Tyler.
Yeah, I was going to take him. I think he is, for these kind of starts that I have, where I only have 3 wide receivers at this point. I think he is a great pick in those type builds because he's going to get volume, and so that brings up the floor for that wide receiver room so much.
Mm-hmm. Although I'm a little late with my my running back room here.
Oh, and I am back on the clock, and you know what? I will. Oh, I'll go with good old lad. I'll
Okay.
take your bulldog.
All right. So I'm gonna go running back here. Are you more a fan of? I think I'm leaning Montgomery here. I'm gonna take Montgomery right there.
I would rather
Over
Montgomery.
Alvin Kamara. Yeah.
I think Demont's kind of weekly upside in that offense is just so much higher than Kamara. I think Kamara is going to give you a very good floor, but I mean, how many points is that offense can even score?
I know. Did you see this viral clip? It was kind of funny on social media. They were asking, like, what is the things to be excited for? I gotta see if I can find the actual clip because I don't want to mess up the quote. But it was a player. They were asking a player like, "What's to be excited about for this season?" And he couldn't think of anything, and it was so.
Oh yeah, it was Chris Olave.
Oh, it was Chris Olave.
Yeah,
I saw it briefly.
He's already at Olave Garden for the summer.
That's funny. And fans, I guess, I also saw a meme. I don't know why I'm getting so much Saints hate on my social media pages these days, but it seems like there were people that were didn't want Derek Carr's autograph or something, or maybe that's just how the photo looked. But it was kind of funny. Needless to say, we're taking Devont over Alvin Kamara in that situation. I think Kamara didn't seem to have the same burst as we saw from him a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
and now
he hasn't been as good running the ball.
Offense.
He's still great in pass catching, but just his rushing upside is so much lower than it used to be.
Mm-hmm. So, guys, if you're watching right now and you don't have Underdog Fantasy yet by this point, which hopefully you do, but if you don't, use the promo code LineStar to get a deposit match, which now Underdog Fantasy will match your deposit or not match it, but give you a deposit bonus up to $1,000. So make sure to use that promo code LineStar. You'll get that deposit bonus, plus you'll get a free month of LineStar. for that. So let's take a look at what's going on here. I'm going to scroll up to the top. So if people are just joining us, checking out what's been going on. Oh, D Swift off the board.
Surprised Hollywood is still there. There he goes.
Do you think a lot of people, like with the Rashee Rice situation, plus the fact that Xavier Worthy had a pretty good camp, is maybe scaring people off Hollywood Brown?
I think it's more so his injury that he may miss a week or two.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I mean, personally, I think he is for sure the third guy in that offense. The third receiver, not necessarily because Kelsey's still there.
Yeah.
You know, Pacheco, he's fairly far down that list for me. So I don't love him, but I want pieces of that offense. So I've definitely been taking him a little bit.
You can probably see where I'm headed for my next pick. If I can get there, and I'm going to go quarterback here.
Oh, no. Are you going to swoop me?
I don't know. Am I?
No.
I got to get that.
Oh, yeah. You had Dak, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to get that Dak CeeDee Lamb connection there.
I'm going good old Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, I like
McLaurin that pick. Connection.
Yeah.
So I like that
nice. One. Yeah, I really like Jaden Daniels is going to be fun to watch. In fact, the Commanders might be kind of a sleeper team. I don't know if they're so much of a sleeper anymore. I feel like they've been talked about quite a bit as a potential team to
all right,
at least be pretty good on offense.
Back on the clock. Fortunately, I am going to go Javonte Williams.
Oh, good. Because then I'm going to take my Georgia Bulldog.
I really don't have much of Zamir White. I know you love him. And
yeah,
I don't mind him. It's just I keep taking other guys around him.
Yeah. Who do you take around him? Brooks? I'm trying to think.
I was taking a lot of Brooks. I've stopped taking quite as much, but him, DeAndre Swift, Najee Harris, Warren, all of them. I like that whole area of running backs. So I just
there's some good value there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a little worried getting, my top running back, Derrick Henry, how that was going to pan out. But there's so many guys that could possibly pop off later. So for sure.
And what's funny is in that other draft, I just took Zamir White.
You did? Nice. Yeah. I know the offense for the Raiders isn't a super attractive proposition, but I feel like just the way that they're going to work is going to be just kind of a ground and pound type of offense, which will
they're totally going to just try and keep the game close into the fourth, use their D, use White, and hope they have a chance to make something happen at the end. Their defense, I think, could be good enough to keep them in games at least. Have you heard the whole Tom Brady trying to be a Raiders owner thing?
No.
Oh, yeah. He might not be able to be part of a lot of the normal meetings with the broadcast crew as the broadcasters normally are, because he could be part owner.
I
And so he'll
see.
kind of be winging it a little bit more.
Yeah, he's like going. I could imagine him being like the Fox #1 guy going into any kind of Raiders game, right? Like the opposing team probably doesn't want Tom Brady sitting in there as they talk game
Yeah.
plan, right? That makes sense.
I mean, or really any team. Like, why would you want to talk game plan
to a guy, yeah, you're right. Any team, because eventually, yeah. That came up a couple years ago. Greg Olson, when he was still playing for the Panthers, I believe, and he was doing some broadcasting, and there was a lot of people that got really upset about that he was in those meetings and stuff. So I get the argument either way.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sure they're not revealing super secretive things, but I understand that coaches are very sensitive about any information that gets out. It could be something as simple as, who's where on the depth chart. As we get into college football season, it's something like every year I'm reminded of just how the most secretive people in the world are college football coaches. Okay, if you want a secret kept to the grave, like, you got to keep it with a college football coach, because I'm up here. Whoops. They know how to definitely keep a secret. I'm going to keep it with Dallas here. We're going to go Brandon Cooks, although I kind of like Mike Williams too there, Tyler Lockett, but we're just going to lean into the Dallas stack. Did I miss something? Is he hurt or? Let me look up. What's Brandon?
Who?
Brandon Cooks.
No, he's not hurt.
He's not hurt. Okay. Still practice. No. Oh, he's not practicing, although he did, but it doesn't look like. It looks like just
yeah, it shouldn't be anything
off day.
To worry you in the long run.
Yep. All right, and we're back up again here.
You sure are. I took Tyler Lockett. I'm giving him the Tyler bump. I might end on four running backs for this team I got.
Oh boy, where am I going? Can't decide. All right, we're gonna go Jacoby Myers. I don't love it, but since I already have Zamir White, whatever. I feel like Jacoby Myers is a guy that has a lot of talent. We just haven't really seen him in situations where he's gotten to show it a lot. Hopefully that changes.
Yeah.
Because I just drafted him.
He's been a tough click for me, just because you have Bowers, you have Adams, but then it's Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, I get it totally.
I feel like that offense could be so good if they went out and got like a real quarterback, not
Gardner Minshew. All right, so I'll look at my team. We got Dak, Derrick Henry, David Montgomery, Zamir White.
No offense, that mustache. Sorry.
The mustache. CeeDee Lamb, Devontae Adams, Amari Cooper, Deontay Johnson, Brandon Cooks, Jacoby Myers, Mark Andrews. Have most of your builds been kind of the same number in terms of your quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, or has it varied drastically?
It hasn't varied a ton. Let's see.
You usually go one or two quarterbacks. You usually do two QBs.
I do two or three usually. Mm-hmm. It all depends on the build, who I have for quarterback. It's like me taking Jaden Daniels where I did. I'm expecting him to be able to rush, and with that, I might only take two. But it kind of depends on who my second quarterback is on this team.
Yeah.
If my second guy is, I don't know, Bo Nix, then I'll probably take a third.
Gonna highlight some guys here. I don't like Zeke as much as I did just when we started this.
No, I like Rico Dowdle a lot more than Zeke these days, but I'm still taking a little Zeke.
All right. Let's 5 picks away.
Another thing that has kind of determined if I'm taking 2 quarterbacks or 3 is what I'm doing at tight end.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm waiting a long time on tight end, I'll take 3 tight ends, and then I don't really want to go 3 quarterbacks also.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to have 6 of my 18 draft spots filling up only 2 spots in my roster.
Yeah.
And
That makes
so,
sense.
I kind of go 3 or 2 depending on that.
How are you feeling about a lot of talk this week about Justin Fields and kind of the Steelers, what they're doing there at quarterback? Do you have any thoughts? Earlier in the season, we were both of the mind that, hey, Josh Fields maybe late in the draft is a guy you might want. Is he still a guy you're interested in?
Yeah, I'm still taking him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that Wilson is very good.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's pretty obvious that at least next year that Fields is going to be their guy. And so
Yeah.
if they get off to a little slow start, I think it will end up being Fields, and you're on the clock.
I am on the clock here. I'm going to go with Mr. J.K. Dobbins. I know he's very injury prone, but I feel like we don't know what that run game looks like quite yet. And he is an explosive back that could definitely demand some volume in that Chargers offense that is going to be run heavy with Harbaugh
And
at
I
the
just
helm.
took Herbert.
There you go.
I got Lad McConkey, so wanted to get that second quarterback.
Yep.
With Lad, I may not
yeah.
go. With Herbert, I'm probably going to just stick on 2 quarterbacks there.
Mm-hmm. Where am I headed here? You still haven't taken a tight end yet, huh? Are you going? Is that where you're...
Still have not.
Still have not. Okay.
Wilson.
Ugh, these wide receivers do not thrill me. Pearsall's an interesting one. 118. What pick are we? Might have a bit to go.
Yeah, my tight ends might be a little rough here, but
tight end, as you were saying, another position though gets banged up a lot. So,
well, the thing with tight end too that it's so bad that you just need a touchdown. So if you have 3 guys that are number 1 tight ends on their team, you have a decent chance of getting a touchdown, weekly or at least every other week. So you can stay competitive,
Mm-hmm.
It's not like there's a huge discrepancy in points between the guy that's the 15th tight end and the guy that's the 4th.
Yeah, that's a good point. With so much, depending on those touchdowns. Let's take a look at who is still available. We got a while to go. How's your other draft going? Who you got in that one?
Lamar Jackson, Tua Tagovailoa, James Conner, Zamir White, Blake Corum, Zeke Elliott, then Tyreek and Waddle, Metcalf, Chris Godwin, Khalil Shakir, Brandon Cooks, and Trey McBride on the other one.
Ooh. Yeah, I like Trey McBride a lot.
Yeah.
Blake Corum is one that I've been taking more of recently, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But I like it.
Yeah, I need to get the Baltimore stack there with Lamar still, but outside of that, I'm pretty happy with how that draft has gone.
All right. Who do we got? All right. Who's at quarterback? Maybe I feel like some people in our draft here are already at 2. So what are we looking at here? I don't hate Deshaun Watson. That's an interesting one. Let's see who's all still. Yeah, it's been getting thin at quarterback here.
Yeah, I mean, it's thin at quarterback. It's
There's Fields down the list.
there's still a few, though.
One, yeah. All right, let's see ADP. I'm gonna. I'm gonna go. Deshaun probably could have waited, but.
And I went Luke Musgrove. So I got my first
You
tight
got
end.
your first tight end. Congrats, Tyler.
Mhm.
On a good offense.
Yes. And I now have 3. And you know what? I'm going to just double it up and get my second tight end as well.
Okay.
So I
Who
got
did you
Fant,
get? Oh, Fant.
Fant and Musgrove.
Okay. I
And
think I'm gonna
I
have a
blew
gross
it
pick
'cause
here.
didn't realize
but
both were week
this
10.
is. I got a bit of a homer pick here.
Of course you do.
We're going Conklin. I love Tyler Conklin.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. I probably should have more of him than I do.
Got my Jets shirt on after all, so we had to go a little bit Jets.
Of course you do.
I haven't had too many Jets players. I mean, because I've been missing out, as I said at the top, on Breece Hall, and I wish I had more Garrett Wilson, but I just don't. It's hard to get those guys.
Yeah. I mean, they're both first-round picks, so it's going to be really hard to get a lot of either of them.
Have you been in any season-long fantasy, like with friends or family yet?
None
I
yet.
have a couple drafts coming up, but I always forget because I do so many best ball. I was like, oh yeah, there's defense, there's kicker, there's other things that you draft besides quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end.
Yeah.
So it's like a little different, but I think a lot of the same research can apply to both.
Oh, totally.
I mean, really, we just got to get a good team name, and that's what counts.
Hey, that's what wins it, right? It's all the team name.
Team name. If you have any suggestions, although I guess it's very dependent on who you get, right?
Yeah. Just please don't name it Hawk Tua.
Yeah, you lose points if you name it that. You should automatically have to pay a fine for that.
It's just too easy of one this year.
Mets fans you just triggered all of the Mets fans. Mets fans so triggered by that comment.
Why?
So the New York sports media was up in arms over her throwing the first pitch at Citi Field for a Mets game. I don't know if you saw that, but she threw out a first pitch and was just a viral sensation. And I'm just so curious what the explanation was to the owner, because this ended up being a big story in New York sports. Is like, why would they ever this is the laughing stock of Major League Baseball. Why would you have this girl throw out a first pitch? And I would love to be a fly on the wall of the marketing person that had to go to the owner and explain who this was, right?
That would be great. That would be great.
Like, yeah, she was from this viral video. Yeah, that's an interesting conversation.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it.
All right, I'm coming up again. I think.
Yep, you're 3 away.
I think
I'm
I want
4.
a running. Let's see what running backs we got here.
I'm gonna finish up my tight ends, I think.
I'm kind of thinking. Let's see. It's just. Do you think I should go? I think I'm gonna go Audric Estime. I know it doesn't really
Going
go with
Cade
my
Otton.
team in terms of the stacks.
Breaking news, sources to me and Rap Sheet, the 49ers and Brandon Ayuk have agreed on a 4-year, $120
There it
million
is.
contract extension with $76 million in guarantees. Holding is over. Trade request is withdrawn.
All right. There it is.
And all of a sudden, I wish I had more Ayuk.
Right? He was there for you, I feel like, wasn't he?
Yep, he was. He was there for you as well. I just did not think he was going to end up there. They just,
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to do it cap wise, at least for next year.
Yeah. So for here, I'm going to go with Malachi Corley if I can open it. He's an interesting receiver that has been looking pretty good in camp. Let's see. Oh, the Tim F has been watching our live stream. Yeah, she got
She got
the
super
Hawk
famous
Tua.
for that. Yeah.
Isn't it just the
It's
age of the
crazy
internet
how
is
quick.
wild? Yeah.
Yeah. Just out of nowhere.
Okay, let me show you guys the grid here. Let's start at the top. Show you how things have gone down so far. Are you happy with your squad so far?
Yes. I think receiver's a little weak. But at least I'll end up with 9 of them.
Let's see, Tyler. He's got, start at the top. CMC, Malik Neighbors, Mike Evans, Josh Jacobs, Terry McLaurin, Christian Watson, Lad McConkey, Jaden Daniels, Javonte Williams. That's a nice pick. Zach Moss, Tyler Lockett, Justin Herbert, Michael Wilson, Luke Musgrave, Noah Fant, Cade Otton, Noah Brown. Nice.
Not too shabby.
All right, so we got a last pick here. I'm debating between going with a quarterback or wide receiver. Do you have any advice? My team, I got Dak and Deshaun. My only concern is if one gets hurt with that.
I mean, the thing with that is that for this team to succeed, you need Watson to not get hurt. You need his shoulder to not be an issue.
Yeah.
So if that is not an issue, then I think you're okay at quarterback.
Mm-hmm. Wide receiver.
But I mean, the weekly upside of another quarterback isn't like the worst thing to do.
Let's see. One of my favorite flyer picks is Tez Walker, final round. Do you have a favorite final?
I did just take him in that other draft.
Oh, nice. That's one of my favorite ones.
There's been a few different
flyer.
ones that I've been using, and it kind of depends on the build. I like Khalif Raymond a lot with, likely the third receiver for Detroit. I was doing a decent amount of Juwan Jennings, thinking that Ayuk was going to be gone. So that hurts, that last flyer pick. But there's a few. And, I mean, you can't really go wrong with throwing in a backup running back. I mean, I'm not going to on this team. but that's something that you could do if you wanted to. Also, just go 6 running backs. Just because it's like Trey Sermon, he is the backup for Jonathan Taylor. JT gets hurt,
I know.
Sermon's going to have a giant workload.
That's a really good point. Who else we got here? I only got 14 seconds to decide. I think I'm good at wide receiver, so I'm going to take your advice, Tyler. We're drafting Mr. Sermon. I think that's a good strategy, though. I like that.
KJ Osborne of the Patriots to go along with my Charger stack for a little week 17 correlation.
Nice. So, here's a little we'll just scroll through here, but nice drafting. Another one in the books.
Again.
Hopefully you learned something, whether it was about the Mets in their first pitch situation or... But as always, that LineStar best ball tool is there for you guys to utilize and export directly into your draft. As you can see, my ADP right there is there, but when the draft was going on, we also had the rankings imported so that you can kind of see where there's value in terms of LineStar's projections, which of course you can kind of cater to your own individual preferences. If you want rookies, if you're targeting you want more San Francisco 49ers on your team, you can adjust the settings accordingly and then export it to your next draft. So check that out on the LineStar app. That's going to do it for our live stream of best ball drafting for today. Good luck, everybody. And if you haven't already, check out that. You've got a few more minutes to catch that MLB prop show for today. Hopefully get some winners. Just a small slate this afternoon, 4 games, but we did give out some picks earlier, so you can check out that video on our YouTube channel. And then next week we will have our normal NFL programming, which will be back. Tyler will be breaking things down from a daily fantasy perspective. We will also have our normal prop bets show, plus Underdog Fantasy weekly picks as well, and those Thursday night, Monday night football previews. So make sure, if you haven't already, you are subscribed to the LineStar YouTube channel so you know more coming out with content, because we've got a lot coming up. Good luck, everybody, in all of your best ball drafts. We'll see you next time. Have a good one.
See you guys. Good luck.